So, how was the voice session that we did before the break? Tell me about your experiences, about your discoveries.
To me, it was very new to feel this what we did in the spinal cord. That was very surprising for me. Normally, I feel something when I do something which has to when it comes to Pemaco stuff. I feel something on the top of my head, and that was already irritating to me in my front head and here on the top of my head.
Ah,
When we started this sharp singing of the mantra, I felt a strong energy in my back. This is absolutely new to me, and this is why it's so overwhelming for me, and in some kind overwhelming for me.
okay. So, just to be clear that, well, any practice really comes with all kinds of sensations. I don't know if you have prior practice experience of some kind, but you know, whatever we practiced, some kind of yogic meditative practice, there would be some kind of experience and sensations that you didn't have before. So you know, it's a new thing that happens with practice, and especially with tantric practice, because tantric practice is energy work. You could translate tantric practice as energy work, working with different types of energies. So there is nothing uncommon in that. We all are going through that or have gone through that. So yeah, just enjoy the new sensations. There is nothing dangerous, nothing strange in that. You know, millions and millions of people have had those before.
Okay, I didn't mean that I couldn't
Right.
accept or didn't like it. It was
Yeah.
just new and yeah.
Yeah. I just wanted to clarify that because you used the word overwhelming.
Yeah, it was a bit overwhelming.
Right. Okay. No problemo. Christine?
Wrong button. For me, I have a little bit lung problem, and if I'm breathing so deep and singing, then I'm feeling a tension in my breath, and so I start to become also a little bit a headache. But I can feel also the energy. I have a higher energy in my body, but yes, the tension, a little bit of headache.
Okay. Okay. Aches, headaches, aches in other parts of the body can last just half a minute, sometimes can last for weeks, sometimes can last, well, not really for practitioners, but sometimes can last for a longer period, weeks or even months. Some just strange aches that come out of blue, and then suddenly one day you notice that they're gone. So this is also very typical for any type of practice. But when it comes to headaches, what might be useful is that when you do shouting practice or any type of practice, make sure that you feel a wave of relaxation that goes from up to down in the body. So you relax downwards. You could even headaches can be caused by different causes, but if it is that the vital energy rises to the head and this causes headache, you get it back down by relaxing downwards, or you achieve the same thing by just having your attention in the gut, or perhaps in the pelvic area, or in the soles of the feet. So having attention down there in the body automatically pulls, if it is a prana, vital energy, headache caused by vital energy, too much vital energy up here, it pulls it back down.
Mhm.
So, yeah. But and having
And
said that, you can just have random aches and pains sometimes, like I said.
yeah, and I'd like to know the meaning of the Om Ah Hung Hu, which we chanted.
I'll give a short one because I think there is a lecture of this in YouTube. So we have seed syllables here. I could say that Om is the seed syllable of Bhumis 1 through 6. A is the seed syllable of 11th Bhumi. Hung is the seed syllable of Bhumis 1 through 10. Hu is the seed syllable of 13th Bhumi. So you have a whole bunch of stuff in those 4 short syllables. Or actually, to be precise, I shouldn't talk about whole bunch of stuff. I should say that the whole karmic body is covered by Om Hung, and then Ah Hu relates, 11th and 13th Bhumi relates to emptiness body and enjoyment body. That's a bit more accurate than just saying that there's a bunch of stuff in those mantras.
I'm so sorry, but may I ask another question? You've been talking about the layers around us. You remember the carpets of wet and dark stuff.
Yes?
And we can push them away by using Hung Pat and by the last Om Hung, what we sung.
Yes?
You said then they are gone. Is this only permanently? Will this status quo get back and we will sing it again then, or?
Yes, exactly. We have to do it again and again, and this is what the purification process is. What the Bhumi perfection, Bhumi opening, Bhumi perfection process is, that you just have to repeat it, and then little by little, little by little, because those openings and perfections happen, when it comes back, there's less of it. Yeah.
Do you, by accident, know why the Tibetan monks always pray so deeply, sing mantras so deeply and in this very low voice? Is that because of vibrancy of these deeper notes, or?
I have never practiced that myself, except I have done a little bit of throat singing in my musician days. But yo they do like this. I don't know why. I never did it that way. In Zen Buddhism, you don't do it that way. You just like we have done it. You use the gut, the belly, and from the Zen point of view, also any singing teacher would say that this kind of sound production it's not supported by the muscles here. So it's just a different way of producing sound. Yeah, you can't get that to pop. You can't make explosions with that because you're not using the muscles here. So I don't know how they came up with that. But apparently there's some benefit because they do it. How are you, Ugi?
What do you mean?
Just a question.
Doing good. Doing good. Interesting times. More details? Or not?
Just a casual question.
Yeah, doing fine. It's and you're just the way you lead this retreat is so rounded, so beautiful. It's amazing.
Okay, thank you. I had zero plans when we started, but I just kind of one thing leads to another. So I just felt like this is the third day, so I just felt like talking more about the use of the body. Was there something new to you as a group? Many of you have been doing Pemaco practice longer than for a year, and because of that you already learned Vajra body. I think I introduced it in May or June last year, or was it 2019? Maybe 2019? Yeah, so it's been 2 years. The corona thing messes up the timeline in the head. Yeah. But was there something new regarding how I instructed the tensing of the muscles yesterday? Was there something new you got from that?
Yeah, I think, Kim, it is because that you concentrated on it in detail, whereas I think when it was being introduced, there was a lot being introduced, you know, and you did cover it before, but it's really good to go into the revision, and especially that is dealing with. It's easy to pass over it, to actually put it this way, it enables me to actually concentrate more specifically on the mechanics of the breath and the muscles. And I think that the analogy or the example of the wet blanket over the head is actually really good, because when practicing that you can visualize that nearly, you know, and also coupling that with boomy openings and the hole being made in the plate.
Right.
I'm taking the example of the wet blanket as being a plate, really, that's actually, you know, and
Mm.
I think that it refreshes the actual the practice.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I noticed that, you know, as I lead these retreats every month or so, and then as months go by, sometimes I notice that like there is some kind of it's not becoming stale, but it's kind of like somebody's practice might look like kind of like lifeless or mechanical. So it's instead of it being organic, like living body mind thing, it becomes kind of just going through the motions mechanically without paying attention to fine details of the experience, and then perhaps using the voice in a kind of like just dully shouting the syllables and like that. So there is the kind of the freshness suffers because of that, and that's why we have, you know, all the recorded workshops, and that's why I give these workshops, so that you can keep your practice fresh and keep the practice correct, so that it works for you, so that you get the benefits from it that you should. And same like squeezing those muscles. What I have seen a lot on retreats is that, you know, people squeeze, but they don't really squeeze. So it's kind of like going to the gym and then taking the arm dumbbells that are the most from the light end, from the lightweight end, and just doing these motions with weights that don't do much to your muscles. So I see that a lot in Vajrabadi practice, that people squeeze, but they are not really squeezing. It's not dynamic. So it's a good example of this, that people do it, but they don't really do it. They don't do it properly. So it's something for everybody to remember, to do it properly. And then when you do it properly, the result is instantly there. Those blankets blow away.
I think one of the reasons why this workshop was also so effective was that first physical workshop we did on Sunday with the slow movement. It just enhanced the body awareness. And kind of set up the tone for the retreat to really include the body more. So a Vajrabadi workshop doesn't feel like out of place, like this one day where we just work more with the body. It's just, I think the setup was nice with the movement.
I was meaning to get back to the movement yesterday, but we just didn't have time for it. I was thinking of teaching like not a full weekend, not as much as these, like if we had a weekend retreat, 6 + 6 hours, not that much, but I was planning to teach like a mostly physical practices in late August for a weekend. So, you know, as I've gotten back to physical practices myself during the past year and a half, I feel like it's time to bring it to the side. And like I was also talking about Vajrabadi, is that, you know, if you really do it, you know, there is this, like you probably know, there is this hot word in meditation and world of mindfulness today, embodiment. A synonym that is used is, what do they say? It's somatic practices. That's a cool and sexy word, somatic practice. I'm doing somatic practice. I'm embodying the divine or embodying mindfulness. But you know, I was trained by the top Zen masters, and it's a whole different ball game. You know, the question of embodiment in traditional Zen, you don't really see that, even though Zen Buddhism has been in America for 50 years. You don't really see that same embodiment in American Zen teachers and roshis like you do in Japanese. So it's a completely different game, and I was fortunate to see closely actually a number of Zen masters and study with two of them closely, and you know, see and witness and feel through physically touching how the embodiment feels like. So it is from this, like I wrote yesterday about yesterday was 19th of July, and 19th of July 2004 was the first time I met my Zen calligraphy master in Japan. And in that post I, you know, explained a little how much Terayama Sensei, my Zen calligraphy master, who was also a master of Zen, obviously, but also had a vast knowledge and experience of all kinds of body-mind practices, martial arts, internal martial arts, healing practices, just a long list, decades of study. So a lot of, I kind of realize it now after years of teaching myself and you know, after years of making Pemako the method that it is now. It's been a long process. I realize now how much there is influence from especially Terayama Sensei, but from that Zen background that I have, there's a lot of it in Pemako. Where was I going with this? Yeah, so the embodiment, that embodiment means that first requirement is that our Buddha nature, our basic state, is recognized. Two, it is this basic nature of ours is unified with our physical body. So you have a very special type of body-mind unification. And Terayama Sensei, he formulated his own style of, like, there is this umbrella term for Chinese yoga, which is Qigong. Qigong, you have probably heard it, Qigong, Chinese yoga / health exercises. So he formulated his own set of Qigong practices, and you can see a video of his in Pemako Buddhism channel. But just like myself, you know, he took some bits and pieces, looked into the underlying principles of those practices, and then formulated it again, and, you know, created his own style of body work. And I have never seen anybody move like he moved. He was a short man, like maybe 160 centimeters or something, like much shorter than I am, and even I'm not tall. And so he was a small Japanese man, born in 1938, and I get a bit emotional thinking about him. So he spent all his life, since he was a young boy, practicing Zen Buddhism, practicing many different kinds of martial arts, and then studying Zen with Omori Sogen, who is maybe like there are two Japanese Zen masters who are kind of the top two in last century, and Omori Sogen was the other one. The other one is Yamada Mumon, who was Omori Sogen's Dharma brother. And so Terayama Sensei studied like a large collection of things, and what is unusual in his story is that he also went to India for 2-3 years and studied there with Tibetan Buddhists, with Hindus, with having conversations and joining sessions and so on. So this is very unusual for Japanese. Like if you usually Japanese people don't do that. They are very, is it homogeneous? Is that the word? You know, they are very loyal to one type, one lineage and one practice. So they don't really look what's happening elsewhere. So what was really exceptional and unique in his use of the body, as you can see from those videos, he was just so soft. But at the same time, you know, when he was still alive, he passed away when he was 69, and when I was in Japan he was 66, 67. So, and he was much shorter, thinner, with a thinner body, but I couldn't push him over. I was 25 at the time. So he was very soft in his body, very pliable also. You can see from the video how he makes a split just like that, spreading legs and putting his navel down on the floor while sitting on the floor. And just beautiful movement. Recently I wrote about this. In the West we don't have a culture for internal physical movement like there is especially in China and Japan. So, you know, we have a culture of sports that thinks in terms of getting the pulse high, getting the heart rate up, getting a cardiovascular workout, making muscle strong. We have like our physical education is built on those functions, and it's okay, but there's something missing there. On the other hand, in Asian physical culture, you know, you have also the cardiovascular and muscle strength of muscles, but there is also the internal side related to the mind and basic state, and this is what Terayama Sensei was specialist of. You know, Zen arts, Zen, the basic state, meaning Zen expressed through physical movement and calligraphy and painting. That was his specialty, and he was known all over Japan because, you know, Zen arts is it's like football in the UK. So, you know, it's like national sport. So everybody knows who's the goalie of, I have no idea of football clubs, but, you know, think about the goalie or some central position player in famous UK football club and tens of millions of people knows who it is, even though they don't follow football. Terayama Sensei was that person in the field of Zen arts and martial arts in all of Japan. And there are many famous names like heads of martial arts lineages, spiritual lineages who came to study with him. So he was a specialist, an expert in that sense. But so I'm trying to wrap this up to some kind of logical whole. So in my life, since I was a little kid, I've done a lot of physical practices. And when I say martial arts, I've done some like fighting, martial arts, punching and kicking, being in the ring. But mostly I've done internal martial arts, where you don't fight. So this is about unifying body and mind and moving with a body that is unified. And that's a very different way of moving the body and using the body in one's physical practice, in one's daily activities, than what you learn if you only do Western sports. So moving can be and is a Zen art. And when on Sunday we did that swaying thing, very simple, but there is a lot in that movement. Because, like I said, first we have to have recognition of the basic state, and then there's actually a number of things there. Then we have to know how the body works, and then you join the two. But how the body works, there's a lot packed in that. There's a certain kind of way how the body needs to be aligned for the body to be unified. This is the so-called 9 pearls in Chinese Qigong and Tai Chi. 9 pearls, aligning the 9 pearls, which means that the joints of the body remain open and connected, like joint in the wrist and joint in the elbow, joint in the shoulder. This is a one continuum. And from the shoulder it goes to the upper back, mid back, lower back, to hip joints, knees, ankles and feet. So this whole body becomes like what the unification means is that it becomes an elastic body. It's a one whole. WHOLE, one whole. So you learn to align it. You might be doing standing meditation, standing upright, holding arms like this. Or you might be doing something simple like swaying back and forth. So as you repeat it thousands and thousands and thousands of times, what you learn is that you discover this natural way of aligning the body and using the body when stepping back and forth. And it feels very different when you do it. If you do 1,000 steps back and forth, 1, 2, 3, that takes about half an hour. 1,000 reps in half an hour. If you do it 2-3 months, 1,000 a day, you will move differently, for sure. And I guess, I especially through Zoom, I can just, tell you what to do, but then it's kind of up to you to find out what I mean by this unification. But it is an art form. Zen art is an art form. It has a long tradition in Japan and really long tradition in China. Taoism is, I don't know, over 10,000 years old tradition. They have done these things for thousands and thousands of years. It was the Chinese who transmitted these arts to Japan. And it's an art form. There is beauty in it. There is an amazing inner journey in learning how to use the body like that. And there is beauty, there is poetry, there is, what is that word? There is sophistication. I remember Terayama Sensei's master Omori Sogen. He was also like a superstar in Japanese Zen. And Lama John Hogue. I interviewed Lama John last year 2 times on our podcast, and we have had private conversations also, and he was a student of Omori Sogen in Japan. And like Lama John, he studied with all the greats of Tibetan Buddhism, also some Chinese masters, and also Japan. And he said that, Omori Sogen, he was just not only his energy, not only the Buddha nature that shone through him, but the way how he carried his body, moved his body. It is something for us to consider. But I'm happy to share everything that I've learned through these years about the physical practices and Zen arts. Zen art from the point of view of physical movement. Happy to share all this. Patricia?
Yeah, I was just going to ask, is there an element of bodhicitta in martial arts?
Definitely, yes. There was a paradigm shift. It is there in Chinese martial arts also, but especially in Japanese martial arts. There was a paradigm shift some time ago, I can't really pinpoint it, but maybe 200-300, not that much, maybe 200 years ago in Japanese martial arts. And the paradigm shift was that before that they were practicing the so-called jutsu, J-U-T, jutsu. This means, it simply means technique, but Bu-jutsu. Bu means to fight or martial. So Bu-jutsu means martial technique or fighting technique. You could also translate it killing technique. So 150-200 years ago there was a paradigm shift to Bu-do. Do is the same as Tao in Chinese, meaning way, path, way or path. So we have martial way of fighting. And what happened there was that there was a shift from practicing the arts to learn how to kill to practicing the arts to develop our virtues as well as to develop our character. So then the whole idea from killing subsided. So Budo, that's where that's what the name means. But also, like specifically in my tradition, in Terayama Sensei's tradition, there is very strong emphasis on compassion and saving life rather than taking it, because everybody's been a Buddhist practitioner for hundreds of years. So, yeah. Oscar?
I come to think about embodiment, like you told me the other day, I should try to be more embodied.
Mm.
I have an example because I've been going on and on about like a knot in my throat for 1.5 years now, and it's has changed and like things have fallen off, and especially lately. But I've been doing a lot of like chanting mantras right here and so forth because I thought like this is the place where the problem is. And I guess again some have happened, but also it has created like a lot of pressure on the head. So I've been like a lot of eyes going and tired. And so I've been trying this embodiment last days. What I found is that my arms and legs store like a lot of that fear that is here. There has been like release here, but the connection is to like arms and legs and the whole body. So it's been kind of a mistake in one sense to kind of have that one focus because it's so interconnected, and that's why I asked about the energy system, and because I start to see that like how connected this whole thing is and how clever it is to use the whole body. And I've been doing this thing that the inner martial art lately, and that's lovely. Like that really hits something for me. Whole body. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like sharing that about embodiment.
What I also wanted to say about the Vajra body is that when we do it properly with a lot of dynamicity, when I said that recognition of Buddha nature and then unifying Buddha nature with the body, that happens automatically. But having said that, there's also, several things you can learn from doing Vajra body as an exercise. Everything is like learning is always a process or journey. But having said that, that exercise alone creates this embodiment. But then you need to learn how to carry your body.
Just on what Oscar was saying, when we did that stretching with the wrist in the fingers, like that, I noticed that also released tension in my throat. So it was sort of similar. But what came to mind for me when you just said that was, to what extent is it necessary to stretch the body, exercise the body, in terms of liberation, in the sense that, I mean, presumably you can fully liberate yourself without
a body.
Yeah.
Yes, you're certainly right. The purification process, emptiness practice from Bhumi 1 through 10 is entirely in the mind. Yeah, that's just how it is. There are loads of teachers, masters, yogis and yoginis who completely disregard the condition of their physical body. I think one of my favorite is this kind of an eccentric sage from central India, Nityananda, who I think he passed away in 1963, and he's a perfect example of completely disregarding the condition of physical body, just like Ramana Maharishi is. So, it's obvious when you look at their picture that to them, the physical body was probably just a necessary evil, you know, no flowers given. So no concern. So that's one view, and well, perhaps in a bit milder form, it's also the case with many Buddhist teachers. But perhaps I can just say that there's a different way of going about it. So you don't have to do. And as a Pemako practitioner, like I said, the practice, purification practice, is all in the mind. So you don't have to do this at all, what I'm saying. I'm just saying that it's possible, and that, you know, it can be a very rewarding and very joyful journey to also do physical practices. I have never in my life had like a body negative thoughts, although body negative in Theravada, pretty much body negative tradition. There's all that renunciation and bodily enjoyments. They say no thank you to that. Of course, you know, the monastic system has been, I would call it propaganda, really. Propaganda of the monastic system has been in Buddhism since Shakyamuni's time, and that's kind of says no to bodily pleasures and the body in different ways, grosser and subtler. Christian tradition is a body negative, isn't it? But tantrics, it's a body positive, definitely. And like I was in my post yesterday about Terayama Sensei and meeting him the first time and being his student, I was also speaking about this master in his in Terayama Sensei's lineage from 19th century called Tesshu. So Tesshu was a Zen, he became a Zen Buddhist master, a realized master, and he was a martial artist, and he was a layman. So he was married and had kids, and he was a party man. He had a nickname, Demon Tesshu, because when he was in the training hall, he trained like a demon with such fierce energy. But when he partied, and he partied a lot, he partied in the same spirit, like a demon, drinking a lot, making love a lot with lots of different women. He was like the courtesans of Tokyo enjoyed Tesshu's company because he was a big, handsome man with lots of sexual energy. Apparently a good lover also. So he had that kind of energy. And it's the same thing in Tantra, you know, body positive. And Tantrics originally have been lay people. Lay people have fun. We might have a drink, we have a laugh, we enjoy sex, we enjoy life. We don't renounce things. So we welcome things, we welcome life. And so that's what Tantra originally is. It's a tradition for lay people. But then, you know, first the monastics tried to shoo it away. But of course, you know, they resisted it. So eventually Tantra became part of the monastic tradition. So now you have, it seems completely stupid when you start thinking about it, that you have a tradition of celibates who practice Tantra. And it's an oxymoron. Yeah.
So it is every time a very personal decision of every practicing person in Buddhism, whether one eats meat or not, or it was not easy for me to grip it, because it felt to me especially when you described you using a special mantra to ask it, a specialized Buddha to guide this soul of the animals, that felt to me like a shitty compromise. But I didn't want to be judgmental about it. I was just surprised. So it is also a sign of maybe ripeness or inner decision whether I eat meat or fish or drink alcohol or something like this.
Not necessarily, but the reason why I eat meat is because I was a vegetarian for 15 years and it pretty much ruined my health. So when I had eaten meat for 2 days, my health started coming back. My energy started coming back. I wasn't tired all the time, wasn't hungry all the time. And that's why I eat meat, because it's very nourishing and substantial food. So to me personally, vegetarian diet didn't work. But I was, just like so many other people, I was influenced by the spiritual ideals of being a vegetarian. And it did a great disservice to me. Yeah. I have spoken so much, I'm tired now. Let's sit some. So just like on previous days, after break, place your attention lightly in the gut. And from there, like I extensively spoke yesterday, recognition of the basic state takes place. Or, if it doesn't, just lightly, gently place your attention inside the body behind the navel. And just feel the space behind the navel. enjoy the aliveness of the whole body. Feel the aliveness of the body as a whole. Recognizing the basic aliveness of all living things in our own body. For the sake of all sentient beings. Just like we have placed our attention gently in the gut, place your attention gently inside the chest, in the center of the chest. Fist-size area in the center of the chest. So you gently place your attention there, and it's kind of like that attention, putting attention there, it creates a spark, and then the heart opens. The lotus of the basic state opens. Connecting to Mahasiddha Bhumis from the heart. And then let heart and gut come together. Sense them lightly, both at the same time. Heart center inside chest, gut center inside belly, behind the navel. Both at the same time. Manus, could you please lead us through vows and prayers? I knew you were, I was seeing you were having good times, but I had to interrupt you anyway.
So just a reminder that still practicing when we're doing the basic prayers. So we're coming to the end of the day, but we can still think of it as practice. So not to switch off. Liberate all sentient beings. I vow to end all self-based confusion. I vow to exercise the Dharma that frees. I vow to attain the great perfection. I vow to liberate all sentient beings. I vow to end all self-based confusion. I vow to exercise the Dharma that frees. I vow to attain the great perfection. I vow to liberate all sentient beings. I vow to end all self-based confusion. I vow to exercise the Dharma. I vow to attain the great perfection. I take refuge in the Guru. I take refuge in his pure land. I take refuge in the Buddha. I take refuge in the Dharma. I take refuge in the Sangha. I take refuge in the Guru. I take refuge in his pure land. I take refuge in the Buddha. I take refuge in the Dharma. I take refuge in the Sangha. I take refuge in the Guru. I take refuge in his pure land. I take refuge in the Buddha. I take refuge in the Dharma. I take refuge in the Sangha. I am the Guru. I'm in the Pure Land. I am the Buddha. I am the Dharma. I am the Sangha. I am the Guru. I'm in the Pure Land. I am the Buddha. I am the Dharma. I am the Sangha. I am the Guru. I'm in the Pure Land. I am the Buddha. I am the Dharma. I am the Sangha. May all beings be free. May all beings be free. May all beings be free. All beings are free. All beings are free. All beings are free. May all beings receive my accumulated merit. I dedicate the merit to the refuge and to all sentient beings. And we can make a bow. Excuse me. It's Sari's robe. She's coming over tomorrow to get it. So I prepared it for her. Oh. Oh.
2 hours ago during the break, I wrote some news to Facebook Sangha, and I will tell you also the news. It is still anonymous, no names, no pictures yet, but on 7th of July, first Pemako student finished her or his purification practice. All 10 bhumis cleared up. So this is tomorrow, 2 weeks ago. So one person, when it lasts this long, tomorrow 2 weeks, there is no going back. But nevertheless, I want to be sure of, especially about this stage of perfection practice, because this is attainment of first stage of Buddhahood, purifying the 10. So I want to be sure that it is the case actually. So there will be like a observation time for 1 or 2 months. So it will take some more time before the name and photos, videos are published. But I just wanted to give you the news that the first person after myself is through. It's been a long haul, H-A-U-L, long haul of many years of practice. And this particular person, she or he, has been training with me since 2007, 14 years. So it was about time to get the final result. I guess that's all, folks, for today. Thank you for a nice day, very good day, and let's continue tomorrow. Oh, it's Päivi's birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Päivi. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you, thank you. best party here.
Right. Yeah. All right. Thank you, folks. See you tomorrow.